Recently, we saw the monster god appear in Yusuke Murata's One Punch Man manga, but the form that this god has taken is extremely similar to a fan manga that was done years ago, and with the hype surrounding the monster god in One Punch Man, I thought it would be a great idea to revisit this amazing fan-made series, which since I last talked about it, has a couple additional chapters. C. Emming Lab's art is insanely powerful, so this fan manga is centered around that god that was shown in both the webcomic and the actual manga. And what C. Emming Lab has done is he has really expanded on this character, just a glimpse of a character we got a tiny cameo of in both the webcomic and the manga. Now he's made this full story involving this god versus the One Punch Man universe heroes. In the very beginning of this comic, he basically is talking about his first fan manga they created, which was One Punch Man versus Lucifer, which was that alien that's like kind of a combination of Predator and Gantz. And he's also talking about how this is after the Monster Association arc, after the Garo arc. Now, before we get into being introduced to the god beings, we actually get to see what happens with Garo and Bang after the Monster Association arc. And this is really cool because this is something that I think could actually happen in the manga. I think that, you know, through this series in season 2, One Punch Man, we saw that Garo actually does have a small soft side as he befriended that kid, and I do think that he's actually going to become a good guy in the future of the manga, which is awesome because he is a fan favorite character. He's really beloved, he's an awesome character, he's really strong, and he's the successor to Bang. Here, we're traveling to a distant planet where we see this warrior race of cheetah girls. So this woman she's like Wonder Woman, this cheetah girl. She's a fighter on her planet of other cheetah girls, and they are currently battling one of the gods. He's wreaking havoc on the entire planet and their entire race. He is a titan. He is absolutely massive, about, I guess, the size of a mountain or more. He actually does fly through a mountain and just like slices it in half. We'll get to that in a little bit. This god has a variety of different powers, right? He can shoot these cosmic fireballs out that just do absolutely crazy damage, but he also has some sort of like telekinesis. He uses it on Cheetah Girl, and she's like, what's going on? I can't move. Their entire race gets annihilated, and she's actually able to escape using this special stone. It goes back to Saitama playing a video game. He's happy because he found some new technique on the internet so that he could beat King in the video game. Garo comes back and he wants round 2. Garo is searching for something, trying to become a monster. He says that I'm missing something in my life, like I have power, but maybe if I fight Saitama, that will give me what I'm searching for. But as they go outside, Cheetah Girl lands on Earth. She's completely bruised and beat up. And Saitama and crew are going to talk to her, and she's basically going to explain exactly what these gods are. They're fourth dimensional cosmic beings that they can like travel through black holes. They refer to them as God. The galaxy we reside in is one but of many dimensions in the multiverse, and basically these gods travel through black holes. They've transcended the laws of nature, allowing them to do this. Traveling through these black holes and all the cosmic radiation has kind of made them crazy. When they find a new planet with life forms, they want to eradicate everything. They've gone psychotic because of all this cosmic radiation. Cheetah Girl is saying that, you know, you guys are next, like God is coming for you. And she also said that they have these like psychic powers and they can invade the minds of the weak and lure them in with power and turn them into slaves. And you're actually going to see them try and do this on Garo later because he doesn't know his purpose and is acceptable to the god's influence. Now the sky starts to change and Cheetah Girl says it's here. The god that was destroying her planet and all of her race has come to Earth, coming after her because she escaped. Now we get some really nice panels here. And Lab drew this. He drew it almost keyframes of the dimensional god flying through the black hole and coming to Earth, an uninhabited wilderness on the other side of the planet. She prepares them by telling them that this exposure to the prolonged radiation has twisted their minds beyond recognition, and that's why they're crazy. And as he's flying to Earth, he just slices through a mountain, showing Cheetah Girl has this dimensional stone object that was passed down through her tribe. That's how her planet, and she's going to use that to transport the whole team over to where the god is. Here you go. They all teleport, and the area where the god had landed is just completely ruined and destroyed. I mean, look at this art, guys. Isn't this just fantastic? Sometimes you forget that this is just an amateur, but he considers himself one fan artist. So the god is coming. Garo is the first one who just jumps straight up using flowing water, smashing rock fist, throwing out his, you know, array of punches at this giant god just flowing toward him, but he's like, it's fast, and just zooms right past him. So Genos steps up, busts out his all brand new equipment, which he has just acquired after the Monster Association arc. They talked about that a little bit in the beginning, and he shoots out this massive nuke. So as Genos has this giant like blast flying towards the god, his own blast opens up, and the god's blast cuts through it and starts flying right towards Genos. He's in danger. He's about to die. There is a massive explosion that goes off. You can even see it from space. The destruction is so large, but we see that Saitama actually intervened and saved Genos, but the god is heading right for them. The god swings at them with this massive fist, so Saitama just like smacks Genos away to save him, and Saitama actually gets smacked into a mountain. Awesome sense of scale from this imagery here. Genos is like, Sensei! The god is coming after Genos now with another one of these hand maneuvers where he just kind of digs his hand into the ground of pieces. Garo acknowledging that the god just peeled off the entire surface of the earth, and now the god glances at Garo, and he's going to try and invade his mind. This is what they talked about earlier. What Garo is seeing right now is very similar to what Homeless Emperor saw when he got his powers from God. He said, you are stubborn in your pursuit of power. humans are such greedy beings. So these gods actually know a lot about the universe, like they're fourth dimensional beings, but they seem to be all knowing. And he's telling Garo that I can grant you incredible power, but you must use that power to kill every human on the earth. So he's talking about now and showing some images of the different characters that he's given power to. That's Vaccine Man from the first episode of One Punch Man. I don't know why. I'm interested in, what would have happened if this was during the Monster Association arc. I still think Garo has a sense of pride and he wouldn't have taken the power, but at the end of the battle between Saitama and Garo, he pretty much like loses that pride. He'll do anything to get enough power to beat Saitama. So I think there may have been one point in time when Garo would have taken his power, but obviously he's like, no way, not today, I'll defeat you. And so he and Cheetah Girl dive in towards the god. And pretty much what the god is doing here is he's just swinging his arms around with such force that's creating these like shock waves of air, and it's just blowing everything up. Garo is somehow dodging this. Cheetah Girl and Garo fly in at his head. Awesome panel here showing, again, that great sense of scale. But God just smashes his hand down so hard. This punch is so strong, it reminds me of one of Saitama's punches. And I feel like what I'm interpreting these panels as is that punch down was so strong it created a vacuum that sucked Garo and Cheetah Girl straight down into the planet, taking that damage. Saitama wakes up, freaks out after he sees the damage, but he's not freaking out because of God. He's saying, I forgot to save the console, I lost my level 80 character. Here we go, One Punch Man, who had earlier got smacked into a mountain, launches himself towards the god. So as he's flying towards the god being puts his hand out and starts shooting these cosmic fireballs. You can see Saitama there, like somehow air dodging all of these things, and he slides out right in front of the god, who is just gigantic. And you don't mess with Saitama's video games because he says, give me back my level 80 character, throwing a punch that knocks the god up all the way into the air. It looks like the god blocked this without taking any damage, really, besides the fact that he's airborne now. Beautiful. Again, I know I can't say there's enough sense of scale. That's how you show a giant in art form. And Saitama gets ready to launch himself, flying up. Awesome panel here, great perspective shot as the god's head begins to open and it charges up this just crazy cosmic laser beam of destruction that shoots right at Saitama. And Saitama is just flying through this energy beam like it's nothing, and he uses a killer move, Serious Punch, nailing the god straight down into the earth, which just creates an explosion so big it takes